Greetings, everyone. Welcome to PSAI Talk Show. This is a live event designed to create awareness around high impact speaking topics while offering insights into PSAI's vision, values, and benefits. PSAI, that is Professional Speakers Association of India. This is a community dedicated to enhancing professional speaking careers globally. It is a part of Global Speakers Federation comprising 17 national speaking associations worldwide. In India, PSI operates across cities such as Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Vadodara, and also we have a virtual chapter. As we go along, we would like this session to be interactive. So tell us in the comments your name and where are you joining from? Wow. So Sagar is from Vadodara. Thank you. Who else? Hi everyone, joining from Bangalore. Vibhuti, thank you for joining. Mithil from Mumbai. Welcome. Manish Kumar from Vadodara. Awesome. Yabijan from Kerala. Amazing. Now, let me begin by introducing myself, your host for this evening, Pinky Bahroos. I am a professional speaker, a public speaking coach, a communication skills catalyst, and founder at ACE The Stage. Have spoken at various platforms such as various TEDx events, Josh Talks, conducted sessions, and presented keynotes at various conferences, corporates, colleges, schools, and NGOs. I love to smile and see smiling faces. Now, coming back to this event, whether you are an aspiring speaker, a trainer, a coach, or an experienced professional speaker, today's conversation is for you. I strongly believe that speaking is not just what happens on stage or what happens on screen. It is about building credibility and creating an impact with your knowledge and experience. A lot of effort goes behind these scenes. Those who have joined us live, here comes a question for you. What is one word that comes to your mind when you think of a successful speaker? One word that comes to your mind when you think of a successful speaker. What's that? I would love to know that. Anything. Awesome. Also, I would like to let you all know that please feel free to share your questions for the expert at any time as we will try our level best to take as many as possible. And this is something which you should not miss. The discussion today focuses on how to grow your speaking career. To help us navigate this important topic, our expert today is a chief financial officer turned business and leadership coach. She brings 30 years of rich corporate experience. She is a credential coach from the International Coaching Federation, PCC, TEDx, and global professional speaker. She is the best selling author of What's the Finance, Where's the Mullah, Who Leads Who. She has received multiple awards, including Value Creator Award, ICAI, Outstanding Professional Award by FICCI, and Nightingale Award by the Society of Auditors and others. She is an art of living practitioner. She enables leaders to grow on purpose, performance, and profits. She is also one of the founding directors of PSAI. Let us welcome the gain enabler, Dr. C.A. Sangeeta Shankaran Sumesh.
Thank you so much, Pinky, for the wonderful introduction. And I love your energy and the way you've been speaking. Great job. Kudos to you.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Means a lot. So let us begin, and let us begin with your journey. When did you first realize that speaking could become your career?
Great question and a great opening question, especially. So I'd like us to rewind a little, right? So when I was in my school, during my school days, I used to love taking part in all the oratorical competitions, be there up on stage, address the audience, and then get the applause. And if it was a competition, I used to win them too. So it gave me a lot of kick, and I was like, yeah, wow. And then fast forward a little bit. I had just completed my college, and guess what? I got an opportunity to be a TV show hostess, something that I had never expected. And guess what? I loved it. It was so nice because when I used to just go around, people used to recognize me, say, hey, I've seen you on TV, and that gave me another kick, right? So it was awesome. And of course, I was paid for being the TV show hostess. While it was good and great, I realized I need to focus more on my career because I wanted to be a chartered accountant. So I bid goodbye to my TV career, and then I started my CA journey. And of course, I was in the corporate world and then grew in my career and then went on to becoming a CFO. Now, as a CFO, I used to address a lot of people. I used to get a lot of speaking invites at different forums and everything. And I used to really love going and spreading my knowledge and from my experience and everything. It was awesome. After a few years, I realized, I had a great corporate innings, and I said, it's probably time I need to do something more meaningful and purposeful, something that really aligns to my purpose and values. Because I realized if I can contribute to the success of one organization, how can I scale myself? And I wanted to impact more people. I wanted to touch more lives. I wanted to contribute to the success of others. And it was at this juncture, few of our friends, Kriva, Praveen, and few others, we all happened to meet each other. And then, that's when this topic of professional speaking came into the light for me at that time. And I'm like, what? What is the difference of a professional speaker? I'm already a speaker. And I thought I was a good speaker at that time. And believe me, I did not know the difference between normal speaking and professional speaking. And I'm like, what? Do you actually get paid to speak? What have I been missing all these years? That was what was my initial reaction. And this was in 2019. And that's when PSAI got started. And then I started discovering a whole new world and what it really meant to be a professional speaker. And yes, that was a big eye opener for me to say, oh, you actually get paid to speak. That's something I love to do and love to share and add value through my years of experience. So to answer your question, Pinky, so that's when I got to know that yes, speaking is also a career.
Wow, when I was listening, okay, wait, she's been a TV hostess, CFO, this, that. Amazing. What an experience and knowledge you carry with yourself. Indeed. And I love that attitude when you said, how can I do something for others? Thank you for that. So, this brings me to the next question. Today, if someone wants to build a successful speaking career, or even if they are already an established speaker, what should they focus on? Particularly, like,
Okay.
what should they focus on?
Okay. So you probably know I'm an acronym person and I love sharing acronyms simply because the recall value is higher, right? So let me come up with another acronym here. So I say, irrespective of whichever stage of speaking career you're in, I would advise you to focus on establishing and growing your ARC. ARC. What does that stand for? Your authority, the relevance, and your credibility. So whether you're just starting out or probably you're a speaking veteran, you've been speaking for years, I believe that for a successful speaking career, it is important to build this arc, which is your authority, relevance, and credibility. Why? Because when you build your authority, people know who you are. Oh, okay, I know this person. For example, take Simon Sinek. We all know he's the expert in leadership. Why? Because he's built his authority. R is to stay relevant so that they know, they can bank on you. They need you, and therefore they know, hey, you know what? Any of my leadership stuff, I'm going to hear Simon Sinek, for example, right? And C, like I said, is your credibility so that they start trusting you. So whichever stage of speaking career you are in, remember this arc, your authority, relevance, and credibility, because that's what, my friends, is going to help you through your speaking career.
Absolutely, I'll never forget that arc. All right, so we were talking about authority, which means I take it as having an expertise. So, is expertise alone enough to build a successful career? If not, can we have a variety? What else can matter?
Okay, great. That's a wonderful question, Pinky. So expertise alone will not suffice, because expertise is the entry point, I would say, right? So it opens doors for you, but that does not guarantee success. Because if you want to build your successful speaking career, I would come up with another acronym here and say you need to build your DIAS. DIAS is DAIS. And this, my friends, is a snippet from my doctoral research, which was on high performance leadership and its influence on financial growth. But this particular model, I think, is applicable to speakers as well, because if you're able to be a high performance speaker and build this DIAS, and I'll tell you what it is, it's going to help you grow financially. So what does this DIAS stand for? Now, before I get into this DIAS, I want to tell you that this is about high performance, and you can apply this in whichever field that you want to excel in and you want to grow. So here we are talking about speaking, and therefore this framework, I'd like to use it for speaking purposes. But what does it stand for? D is the drive. Now, you want to be a speaker, or you probably are, but do you really have the drive to be a speaker? Do you get excited being on stage? Do you love addressing audience? Do you love sharing from your experience and wisdom? Right? Because that is going to give you the energy and the drive, and that is going to help you propel ahead. So D is your drive. Now, A is an interesting aspect, which is your analytics. Now, let's say you're already established in your speaking career. Do you analyze your analytics? What do I mean by that? Analytics here refers to different numbers that pertain to your performance. For example, how many speeches have you given in a year? How many of them have led to booking more gigs for you? How many numbers were there in the audience? What are the different kinds of industry you have addressed? So look at these various numbers. How much have you earned? What percentage of your income is actually coming from your speaking career? Right? So look at the various numbers that are possible and then start analyzing it, because that is going to talk about some of the trends for you. So A is your analytics. Now, I stands for the impact. As a speaker, what is the kind of impact that you've created? How many audience have you touched? How many have you inspired or transformed, right? So how are you going about the impact? Can you do even better in your impact? Start gauging your performance. And lastly, S is the skills. Do you have the requisite speaking skills to engage your audience? And if yes, what level of audience? Are they your target audience, right? Do the audience get energized? Are they excited hearing you? Do they benefit hearing from you? And so, have you equipped yourself with those requisite skills? So, for you to be a high performance speaker or be a high performer in any of the domains that you have, remember DIAS, which is your drive, your analytics, the impact, and your skills. So over and above expertise, I would say build your own DIAS.
I would like to address you as the acronym queen. All right. So
I don't
listening to you, yeah, please. So listening to you, one thing is clear to me. I need to analyze. This is something which I'm missing. So, yeah. Moving ahead, how do we make a place for ourselves? Today, everyone is creating content online. How can we create a distinctive personal brand in such a crowded marketplace? What's your mantra?
Okay, my mantra is something that's very simple. Don't try to be famous, but try to be unforgettable. And how does one be unforgettable? By building your brand. So, how do you build it? So, build is the acronym that I want to share with you to be an awesome speaker, somebody who has a great brand, and somebody who can be unforgettable. So, B is be authentic, be yourself, because I've sometimes seen people who love to imitate another speaker whom they admire, right? By doing so, you lose your authenticity. You're not being yourself, right? You're actually putting on a mask. So ensure you're authentic. So B is be authentic. U is understand your customer. What is the customer expecting out of you? Why is it they want to have you as a speaker for the particular engagement? What are their requirements? What are their needs? How can you actually help them? So understand your customer. I is to inspire. Inspire your audience, right? Because when they feel inspired and they feel wowed by your talk, that's when they're really going to look up to you and say, hey, yes, this talk had a real impact on me. Right? So, can you inspire your audience? L is to lead with value. End of the day, as a speaker, you're there to add value, you're there to enrich the lives of the audience. So, can you actually lead with value? And D, of course, is to deliver consistently. So, it's not like, one talk.
All right. Have we, is Sangeeta there? Is she
Repeat that
audible to
again,
others?
please.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Am I okay?
You're audible. You're clearly
Oh,
audible.
okay, awesome. Okay. Yeah, so let me just repeat that. So B is be authentic. U is understand your customer. I is to inspire your audience. L is to lead with value. And D is to deliver consistently. Because remember, your personal brand is not your logo. It's not just your website or your LinkedIn profile. It is the promise, it's the commitment that people associate you with. And that's exactly, my friends, how you build your personal brand. I hope that answered you, Pinky.
It did, absolutely. And you are giving me some food for thought. All right. So
Super.
you talked about Bill, but when I was listening to you, there must be something more. Like, what does it, is it only build, or was it a take to move from being a good speaker to becoming a sort of the thought leader? Like, how do you get bookings again and again? Like, what is it? What's the
Okay,
magic?
okay. Okay, that's also an awesome question that you've asked. So, I believe the difference is something simple, right? A good speaker is somebody who communicates ideas effectively, right? So, if you're able to communicate, that's really, really great. But thought leaders are the one who create ideas, and that's exactly why they're called thought leaders, right? So they're coming up with new ideas and new thoughts. And if I were to add on my coach's perspective to it, thought leaders are not just answering questions. They actually ask powerful questions that makes you think and reflect and see, hey, what is this action that I need to take? How can I break free from this current situation and move and propel towards my required solution? So if I were to tell you a little more on thought leaders, I think thought leaders are the ones, they create ideas, right? Then they build frameworks. They are sharing different frameworks with you because you can work around them. They also challenge the status quo and the conventional thinking, like, why is it something needs to be done like this? Why can't it be done differently? And thereby they're implanting a new thought, a new perspective, a new seed into the way that you think. Thought leaders are also constantly publishing their thinking. It can be through books, LinkedIn articles, or podcasts, videos, whatever. They're always like sharing the new thoughts that they are getting. And most importantly, I think they stay ahead of trends, right? They don't really follow the normal course. They are always unique and coming up with new stuff, new meaningful and purposeful stuff. So I think that is what differentiates a thought leader. Having said that, whatever talk that you're giving, if people can actually replace your speech with a Google search, right? What is it that you're doing? You're actually just sharing information, right? But if you can get your new thoughts, your new perspective from your experience and your wisdom and the richness that you carry, that's when I think you're building your thought leadership. Does that resonate with you, Pinky?
Yes, and what I understood is that it's not only about speaking, it's what new thing you're bringing on the table. What about
Yes.
like adding creativity, innovation, and your touch to it? That's what I understood.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Your perspective. Yes.
All right, a reminder to the audience, do not forget to share your questions. We'll be taking them shortly. So, one question, Sangeeta, every speaker struggles with is, should I do this talk for free? If not, how much should I charge? How does one move from speaking for visibility to speaking for value and getting paid for it?
Fantastic question, Pinky. That's really awesome because my first take would be is there's nothing wrong speaking for free. But the problem is when you're speaking for free, but without a strategy. So before saying yes, and ask what is it that this opportunity is going to reward you with. It need not be monetary, but what is in it for you? Right? So let me come up with another acronym here, Pinky, and that's free for free, right? Okay. So what does the F here stand for? What is the future opportunity it's going to create? Now, okay, I have taken a free gig as a speaker, but will this lead me to some future paid engagements? If not, maybe some valuable relationships. What is it? Why should I actually invest my time and effort in addressing these audience? So what is in it for you? So is there a future that you're able to see by accepting a free gig? R. R here is the reach. Will it give you access to an audience who you really want to serve? So let me give you my example. Many times I get invited to address college students, right?
Hmm.
And I'm very clear in my head because they are not my target audience. And therefore, I don't see any purpose in addressing college kids, right? So I am very clear on that. So who is it that I want to reach? My target audience are corporate leaders. So I try to match and see, is it going to give me a better reach, but with my target audience? E is exposure. Will it significantly enhance your credibility or your brand by giving you that exposure that you require? Now, you heard me say a while ago that the college students are not my audience, and therefore I don't really address college students and give them my free thing. However, let me also give you an exception. Like once I was invited to address the students at IIT Madras, right? Another time I addressed the MBA graduates in IIMs. Now, those, even though they were like, I didn't charge them, and though it was free, my exposure was good. My exposure, because obviously it adds value to me as a speaker when I say I have addressed at IIT and at IIM. So, the exposure part of it. So, It's all right if you want to speak for free, but is it giving you the required exposure that you want? And the
Hmm.
last E is your experience. Will it help you build your skills? Will it help you test your, let's say, a new talk? Or, will it give you an opportunity to enter a new market or a new geography for that matter, right? Because especially if when you're starting out as a speaker, you want to be sure of your skills, whether it will be accepted, whether how the audience are reacting, what sort of questions you can expect, right? And you may just want to test the waters, maybe with a new talk. So therefore, what is the sort of experience that it's going to give you? So remember that before you reject any free talks. But if it's going to give you some sort of value in turn, there is no harm in accepting a free talk. Now, even if you're not getting paid in money, like I said, if you're going to be paid for a better opportunity, for a better growth, go ahead, value something before you actually agree to this talk. Now comes your second part of the question. It was a lovely question to say, how do you move from visibility to value?
Hmm.
Here, I'd like to share about 3 simple shifts that you can create.
Hmm.
First, don't sell a speech, but sell a solution. If it's a solution to a problem, the chances of you getting booked is much higher. Second, don't price your time, but price your impact that you're going to be creating. And the third is, don't ask what is my talk worth, but ask what is the value that it's going to create for the client. Now, when you're clear in your head about these aspects, it becomes easier for you to go and pitch with your prospective clients. And that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you for that clarity and sharing your personal experience. So my learning is that it's not only you get financial benefit, it's also other benefits. It can be reach, it can be building good bonds, good relationship. And the best what I love is it's about what solutions you offer. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So the next question.
Hmm.
What are the biggest mistakes speakers make when trying to increase their speaking fees? We all want to do that.
Yes, so let me talk about 3 mistakes that I've commonly observed. The first one is undercharging themselves, right? Wherein they are competing on price instead of value. Let me give you a real life example here. So, one of my clients had approached me to refer a speaker, and it was not my domain. So, I was happy to refer speakers in my network. So I had sent him, I think, 2 or 3 profiles. He liked the profiles. He spoke to each of them and he was trying to decide whom to go with. But finally, there was somebody else who hijacked it. And this guy, I think he's a HR head, he actually went ahead and chose the person who had quoted the least, who was not referred by me. Now, if you were to take a step back and look, now, for a HR person, they have been mandated to give a particular talk or a training, whatever that may be. Now, for them, they want to do it within their budget. So, obviously, they are looking at somebody who can fit well in their budget. And maybe even if they have some extra budget, they may want to utilize it in, some other area or maybe want to show it as savings. I don't know about that. But they are going to be just cost conscious. And that is how exactly this other person pitched in saying, hey, I can do it for you for much lesser, half the price and stuff like that. But the mistake that I realized the others who I referred did not do was they did not pitch on the value that they were creating. Right? Because if you were just going to look at cost and then, people are just going to say, okay, you're also delivering this, you're also delivering, okay, fine. I'd go for the one who's offering me the least cost. So I think it's important that you need to pitch for the value that you're going to create. The second mistake that I've noticed is speakers tend to talk about the topics, oh, I will talk about this, I will talk about this particular thing, and different other topics that they're going to cover rather than the outcomes that they'll be able to create. And I think as a client, they look for better outcome. So if you can focus when you're pitching on the outcome that your talk will create, I think that will make a lot of difference. And the third thing that I want to say is speakers sometimes don't invest in their own brand and credibility. So you may be an awesome, excellent speaker, but then when they are comparing different profiles, you need to have that edge. And that edge comes through the way that you brand yourself and when you're known for your authority and credibility. So I think this is what I have seen in my experience. Even I have done these mistakes in the past. So it's not that I am devoid of mistakes, but this is what I have noticed. And also that the fact that the market actually does not pay you for your experience alone. It looks for the kind of impact that you're able to create. And that's what I have observed in my years of experience as a speaker.
Wow, that was an eye opener for me that market does not pay you for your experience alone. Impact matters. Focus on outcome, and of course, we need to focus on our branding. Wonderful. Now it's time to take a few questions from the audience members. Can we? Okay, so we have a question from Aniket, and he's asking that how do I analyze my arc?
Wonderful. Very, very nice question, Aniket. So, uh, I think firstly, you could do a self audit, right? To say, uh, you may think you're an authority, but do your clients know that you're an authority? Are you relevant in what you're offering to your client? Right. And three is your credibility. Your clients, your potential clients, can they trust you and rely on you for whatever is your domain expertise? Now, whilst you can do a self audit, you may also want to run this audit past some of your peers, maybe even from the PSAI community, or also somebody from your existing client circle or your potential existing client circle, because that might throw out different perspectives on the way that you're being looked at, right? It may be right, it may not be right, but it will definitely tell you and give you thoughts on where and how you can improve yourself, establish your authority better, make yourself a lot more relevant, and establishing your credibility, right? So just try a self audit and asking others in your network to see where exactly you stand.
Thank you. And I love that how to check from your like to check a clarity check from your peers. Get from them. All right, there's one more question. For a beginner level professional speaker, how can they show that they can add value without offering for free?
Lovely question. So, if you can establish your thought leadership in whatever may be the domain that you want to showcase and project yourself, like writing more articles, doing more probably videos, podcasts, maybe even books, wherein you're able to establish, right? And most importantly, reaching out to your target audience, wherein you are able to showcase what is it that you bring to the table. And once you start building that visibility in your domain, thereafter it becomes easy for you to get those initial free gigs and thereafter growing as a professional speaker where you can go ahead and charge your clients.
Thank you. All right. So now coming back to my questions, here's the
Okay,
next one.
sure.
Okay, we can get money from speaking, but is there any other, like, what other income stream should every speaker build today? Focus on outcome, focus on branding. What? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful question. See, as a speak more than a speaker, I think it's important you establish yourself as a thought leader, right? Because that then opens doors for multiple income streams. And I think it's very important that you're not just as a speaker, getting a revenue stream, not just from speaking, but multiple sources. Some of them that come to my mind, I'll tell you, can be coaching one-on-one in your particular domain, right? It can also be group coaching that you may want to do. You can do workshops in your domain. You can conduct retreats, mastermind. Books definitely may not be a great revenue source unless you're selling millions of copies, but still it is a revenue stream, right? And it establishes your authority, and that's why you're an author authority, right? Apart from that, you may want to do like virtual courses, boot camps, business advisory, or even brand collabs, with clients that are associated with your domain. So I think if you can crack yourself and establish yourself as an authority and a thought leader, I think a lot more doors for income will open up.
Yeah, like build the courses or book or anything wonderful. All right. Everyone wishes to go global. So, what separates speakers who are known in their city from those who become known across the world?
Okay. Now, I want to firstly break a myth, right? I don't believe global speakers are necessarily better than local speakers, right? Because
Mm.
when you're more local, you can actually connect better with your audience. People can relate to you a lot more. So, and of course, there's no hard and fast rule that when somebody goes global, they are better than others. So, there's nothing like that. So, let's be clear on that. Having said that, what really separates or distinguishes a global speaker is that they create ideas that are universal. People can relate to it, right? So a universal relevance is something that's important. Next, I think they can connect despite the cultural differences, right? They connect through emotions, right? And establish a wonderful connection with the audience. The audience can actually relate to what they're saying. They can understand them easily. Then they also have strong personal brand, right? They are known for their niche. They are celebrated. They are known across countries and probably continents. They nurture their global relationships. So it's not like, somebody goes, gives a talk and they're, in another country and leaves it at it, but they start nurturing those relationships, and they are consistently able to share insights, and even beyond the stage. Like I said, it could be through articles, videos, podcasts, whatever else, but they are constantly doing it, and thereby they are every time emphasizing and re-establishing their authority in their domain. And I think that creating that shift is very important if you're somebody who wants to grow global. And I think the world doesn't need more speakers. It needs people who can come up with new ideas that can go across the borders. And I think that is what will distinguish you as a global speaker.
I love the how you began that you just broke the myth. I mean, I have no words for that. And yes, universal relatability matters.
Yeah.
So, in a world, now it's all artificial intelligence. So, in a
Mm.
world where attention spans are shrinking and AI is changing everything, what habits
Yes.
have helped you stay relevant and continuously grow? What's the secret?
Okay. Firstly, I don't think there's a secret. I mean, I'm an open book, but I mean, as I reflect to see what probably has helped me is, I think it's my LinkedIn presence. I've been very consistent, sharing different stuff on LinkedIn in my domain from my experience. I just like I said, I come from a space where I feel, how can I add more value to people, right? So I like to share my thoughts, my perspectives. So I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn presence helps, also on YouTube and other social media, but I'm most active on LinkedIn. Books are a great source, both reading books and writing books. Like, I'm an author of 5 books, so I love sharing knowledge. Another thing I think is important is to keeping abreast in your domain, right? What are the latest happenings? So once you
Hmm.
know that what is really happening around you, I think you can connect better to the audience. As a speaker, it's important to customize your content and cater to the audience. I've seen few people, they just do a control C, control V, not minding who the audience are. They have a beautiful talk, and that's the same thing they come and present, irrespective of who their audience are, right? So it's important to customize and cater it to the audience. Uh, since you mentioned AI, I think it's very important to experiment new ideas with tech, right? So try different things. Tech is, I think, obviously the new thing, and as speakers or as thought leaders, we need to be equipped ourselves with the different aspects of tech. So AI, for example, right? Use AI as a sounding board. You don't just copy paste stuff from AI, but use it as your sounding board. Sounding board. Somebody with whom you want to bounce off new thoughts or new ideas or get perspectives or contradictory perspectives to your thoughts. So I think those aspects help, and most importantly, invest in yourself, right? Before you expect others to invest in you, you need to invest in yourself. So, like, again, if I were to, since you asked about me, like, I got my doctorate last year. I'm also an OKR coach, apart from an ICF PCC coach. So I'm an OKR coach. I've also done some courses on AI. So the key is to invest in yourself so that you can keep growing. And when you grow, that's when you will be able to add value to your clients. So it's very, very important to invest in yourself, because only when you invest in yourself can you expect others to invest in you. So I would say, stay curious, stay current, stay courageous.
To summarize, what I understood is that there's no harm in using AI, but you need to understand that you have to use it to polish and elevate your
Yes,
talk. And of course,
absolutely.
you need
Yes,
to
yes.
invest in yourself. All right, so it's time for the audience questions again. So, okay, Yabijan is asking, in a crowded speaking industry, what helps a speaker stand out? How can aspiring speakers discover their unique area of expertise, and why does it matter?
It's highly important to differentiate yourself, firstly. And that differentiation comes from your area of expertise, right? If somebody is looking, say, for a finance speaker, they would want to come to me, right? Why? Because that has been my area of expertise. So you need to be known, because see, if you look for speakers, there are like tons and tons of speakers, right? So how does one actually differentiate? So firstly, you need to be known as an expert in your domain, and that is why it's important to have your unique area of expertise. And to the second question, what helps a speaker to stand out? It is basically, what is the value that you're bringing in? What is the impact that you can create? Why should they hire you as a speaker? What is the difference that you bring? What is the unique perspective that you're adding, right? So it is multiple different reasons, but like your question says, it's important for you to stand out. Can you connect with the audience? Can they relate to you? Are you known as an authority and as a celebrity in your domain, right? So those aspects is what matters. And of course, what is the kind of experience you bring in that particular domain? So I think these are the key differentiating aspects.
Wonderful. Thank you, Yabijan, for that. Sorry. Manish Kumar also has a question. Ah, how to evaluate our own speech?
Lovely question, Manish. So, yeah, you could do a couple of things. This is something that I have also learned from Vin Yang, who's addressed PSAI some time ago. So he says, record your speech, or take a speech that you've given, and you could do three things. Yeah. One of it is to switch off the video, just hear the audio, right? Second is to switch off the audio and just look at the video. And there was a third thing, I think, which is to hear the transcript, if I remember right. Right? So he says that could throw up different things. If not, you could do one more interesting thing that I'd like to share, is to upload your video and ask AI, what is it is good about my speech? Where do you think I can improve? Look for insights from that. That is also something that's possible.
I love that idea of switching off the audio and just focusing on one thing at a time. Wonderful. Thank you,
Yes.
Manish, for your question. Thank you, Manish Kumar. All right. So, coming back to our questions, what, according to you, are some unseen challenges of the speaking profession?
Yeah, I think firstly, it could be a lonely journey. You probably sometimes, not really unsure of how much should I charge. And as a result, people tend to underquote themselves just to get a particular gig. There are also a lot of uncertainties. It's linked to the client requirements. Suddenly they say, hey, in the next 2 days, are you available for a talk? Or they're probably like, talking to you and then saying, going back and forth and then, arriving at the date. And, probably that date could come even 6 months later, right? So there are a lot of these uncertainties when it comes to the time frame. And I think, yeah, another most important thing is a lot of pre-work needs to be done. Right, it's not just that you're just
Mhm.
going and uh, giving an impromptu talk. You actually need to prepare. You need to prepare, like, it could be case studies, doing some research, finding out something about the industry and so on and so forth. And I think those are very, very important, because it's not like you're just going and giving a 20-minute keynote and walking away with a fancy amount, right? You need to do a lot of pre-work. And I think that is something one needs to be cognizant about. These could be challenges if you are not mentally prepared for it.
Right. So, having the right mentality, like understanding that how much pre work is important, what to do, what not to do. So, being alert and being active is what I
Yeah.
understand.
Yes.
Wonderful. So, one more question. If you could give every speaker in this room or everyone listening to us live just one piece of advice that could change the trajectory of the career, what would it be?
Okay. So I would say build the speaker in you first. Next, build the business of speaking. Lastly, build the legacy that you want to leave behind. And I think that makes a whole lot of difference. So let me repeat that: build the speaker, build the business, and build the legacy.
Love that. Amazing. Okay, now here's something interesting. Let's move into the fun section, which is the rapid fire. Sangeeta, are you ready?
Yes, let's go for it, Pinky.
Okay, so you have to answer without thinking, instantly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
On stage or on camera?
On stage, undoubtedly. I wish this were on stage too, Pinky.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
One word that describes you backstage before going on the stage.
Excitement that I'm going to go on stage.
Excitement.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing you wish you knew when you started your career, professional speaking career.
It's the importance of adding value, right? Because it's not just you go and deliver a talk, but what is the value that you're adding to the client?
Interesting. Yes. One thing every speaker should stop doing.
Stop using jargons, because if your audience need a dictionary to understand what you're trying to communicate, they're never going to remember you.
So simplicity connects.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
One thing every speaker should start doing.
Step into the shoes of your audience, because that's when you'll be able to see a completely different perspective.
Best compliment you have ever received after a talk. Best compliment you received after a talk.
Can I book you for the next talk? That's what, when somebody said, I was like, yeah, okay, so this talk has really gone well, and I've got it a couple of times. Yes.
Lovely. Best investment you made in your speaking career.
joining PSAI, Professional Speakers Association of India, because I think it's definitely helped me evolve as a better speaking professional. So undoubtedly, I think it's a great investment to do if you're serious about your speaking career.
Absolutely, and I second that. Okay, finish this sentence. The future of professional speaking is
It's bright because ideas will always matter.
indeed. Okay, another finish this sentence. A great speaker is someone who
Someone who is fit. And let me close off with an acronym in this. So FIT stands for somebody who fuels your thinking, who inspires action, and T who is transforms mindset, right? So that is the FIT secret as a speaker. So fuel thinking, inspire action, and transform mindsets.
so we need to be fit. With that, if we have any audience question, let's take that before closing. Any audience question?
Super.
All right. Yeah. So Vibhuti has a question. How do you dabble between the roles as facilitator, coach, and speaker? In which ways are they same and different?
Okay, nice question. So I will probably take the easier one first. Which ways are they same? Because I think it all comes from your domain expertise, right? So you could be a coach, you can be a speaker, you could be a facilitator. It's all a lot to do with your domain, your experience, and what you really bring to the table. So I think that is the same. The difference is, of course, like, as a speaker, you're addressing a large number of people in the audience. As a coach, you're, making them think, to see what is the best solution to their answer. And I think as a facilitator as well, you're facilitating them to come out of whatever challenge they want to come out of. So they are similar, but yet they are a little different, is what I would want to say.
Wonderful. So this comes. I really didn't want this to happen. It was like we can go on and on and on, and a conversation can go on and on. But yes, this is the time for the closing.
Ah,
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, for generously sharing your insights, experiences, and practical wisdom with us, but also with so much honesty and the intention that, hey, I need to help the people who are listening to me. I need to, like, what I loved was the practical insight, the practical knowledge that you shared. And of course, thank you to everyone who joined us live, participated in the chat and asked thoughtful questions. Indeed, speaking is a journey of continuous learning and stepping up on stage.
yeah.
Every opportunity I believe we grab is to share our expertise and contribute to our growth. So we must do it. And on behalf of Professional Speakers Association of India, thank you for being there with us today. And I'll always remember one thing from your session, Dr. Sangeeta, that giving value matters. That is the
Yes.
that's highly
Crux.
important.
Yes, 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 yes. And before signing off, Pinky, I would say that you've been an amazing hostess. Thank you so much for bringing your energy to this conversation. I loved and enjoyed the conversation with you.
Honor is mine. And yes, thank you, everyone. We look forward to seeing you all at our future events.
Yes, probably at a PSAI instant as a member. Yes, yeah,
Why not?
sure.